Yeah, we're so excited. We're about to go in there and make history. So, yeah, let's get it.
Carry a knife. You don't have to take their life. Okay.
It's an absolute dream to be here, giving back, reaching out to you guys before you go off to your lives, bigger lives in secondary schools. So Ms. Walker's been telling me that you guys have been learning about a subject called diversity. So maybe you guys can tell us what that is, what you guys been learning, and what that entails. Maybe I'll take 3 people before we move on. I see the guys here in the back. What is your name, sir? Stand up for us, please.
So we've been learning about racism, microaggressions, and discrimination in diversity.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much. That covers a lot. That does cover a lot. Obviously, this ties in. Oh, we've got another one. All right, so stand up for me, please. What's your name, and then you tell us.
So, my name is and in diversity, we have been learning about bullying, peer pressure, and yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to introduce ourselves, right? Individually. So I'll start with Clive on the section.
So my name is Clive. In my day-to-day job, I work in marketing and business. So if any of you are creative and you have art or any sort of musical talent, when you get older, you can sort of use that creativity and make a career for yourself. So that's the sort of thing I work in my day-to-day job. And my connection to the film is, again, when I was a lot younger, it was a piece of art that we wrote in connection to the environment and what we saw around us. So there was peer pressure going on around us, and we sort of created an art, me and my brother, an art piece. We wrote some poetry, we wrote some music, and then as we got older, we thought, why not make a film and inspire the new generation to educate them about peer pressure and the impact it has in my community. And this is why we are here today, to let you guys keep it more inside. And yeah, awesome.
Thank you so much. Round of applause for that.
So, hey everyone, my name is Vivian. In my 9-to-5 job, I work as a therapist, working with people to support them with their mental health. And outside of work, I'm a performing artist, so I do singing, acting, a bit of movement and spoken word. So yeah, my true love is music. And my reasons for getting involved with the film is I was part of a song, the original song of Chino, that then turned into the short film. I actually grew up in this area, so I went to secondary school on the road in St. and similar to Clive, I witnessed a lot of difficulties with peer pressure, with gang violence, and actually I've lost people to gang violence as well, as a child and growing up into a teenager. So for those reasons, I really want to support the younger generation to not have to go through that same thing. So yeah, we hope that you guys can make the community a lot better than we had to experience. So that's what I'm doing.
I'm Chino. I am the director of the film. I created the film. Obviously, originally started with my brother Clive, and then he spelled out to Vivian to the wider community. So I can't really say I created the film. We created the film, but I started to plant the seed. Okay, as a day job, I am a calisthenics ambassador, plus I'm an entrepreneur. That just means I run multiple businesses. That's why I actually went into the venture of shooting the film. Like I was inspired by our upbringing, what we saw, and we thought that we can definitely do something to inspire the rest. So as you're growing up, maybe it will be your turn to do and change what you see in your surroundings. That's it really anyway. I hand over to Goku.
So my name is Goku. For a job, have many jobs realistically. I'm an athlete and I compete internationally. I do modelling, influence, and also PT as a personal trainer. My connection to the film, for me, this film kind of hit home hard because of a lot of time when I was growing up. I saw friends and even myself sometimes in situations similar to what is displayed throughout the film. And yeah, it's just, I think it's really important for me to be able to get out to the wider community and you guys as well. The importance of not being susceptible to peer pressure and actually going by what you want to do. But yeah.
Okay, my name is Tox. That is actually my real name as well. So my name is Tox. For my job, I'm a reservist in the army now, so I've been in the army so many years. But my day-to-day job, I have a cool job. I work with explosives and stuff, so that's what I do. so that's what I do. In terms of training and stuff, I enjoy stuff like boxing, which keeps me obviously focused and everything. The reason why I'm connected to the film, me and Chino have been friends for like forever. I've known Chino, he's not older than me, but I've known Chino for like a very long time, and we've just always got on, and I've seen him grow, you've seen me grow, and for me, I'm literally from down the road as well. I'm not from Woodpin, I'm from Hackney, I'm down the road, and I've seen a lot of things. I was pretty much involved in it as well myself, and for me, it was a turning point because I do have a son who's actually about you guys' age as well. So for me, it's a positive thing to actually try and bring out to you guys and try and talk to you about just making sure people don't influence you in a bad way and you just making the right choices in life. So I hope that obviously you all learned something today.
Hello, my name's Ramus, and in the daytime I'm a builder, do construction, and my connection to the film is my friend reached out to me, and I lost someone quite close to me in this situation, my nephew, so I wanted to stand up and represent and make awareness that this thing happens, and your dreams are your dreams, and follow them, and we'll get there in the end, just continue.
So guys, we're going to move on quickly and we're going to touch on a few of the characters that you didn't get a chance to engage with. I'm going to quickly give you an overview of the characters. The ones that are here can speak for themselves. Obviously, we couldn't bring everybody here, otherwise we'll be here all day, guys. We don't want that. So we're going to quickly, we're going to touch on a few of them. Who's the first one? Wait, I've got a technical error, but okay. Yeah, start Karima. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you watched the last scene. Karima, she's the mother of, she was the lady at the end of the scene where the fatality occurred. And the gentleman was on the ground, we're not going to say that, but he was on the ground hurt, and she screamed. And the saying she said was, you did this to yourself, guys. It's your brother you killed right now, you did this to yourself. That is what she said. So I'll give you an overview of her. She's basically a normal mother, like your mother, that was coming back from shopping, and she's witnessed this terrible things that's happened. She's compelled with her daughter to go and help. The role she plays in that film is just to depict a bystander that has been indirectly affected by peer pressure. And that's basically it. So we're going to move on to the next one. Ramus, he's going to be here and he's going to basically speak to you about who you are in the film, about you on the other side. So I'll just give an overview. So Ramus, if you stand up for this, Ramus represents, he says a famous quote, says, what you do around here, you're from the other side. Obviously to you guys, you'll be thinking, what does that mean? But obviously on the streets, they have decided that even though they don't own the area, in their heads, they own the area. So the fight about this side, it's what is part of the reasons they're fighting. Even though they don't own that area, they think they own the area. So he's going to enforce his own laws on the street. And obviously, unfortunately, when he meets young Goku, it doesn't end well for him. But he basically represents the what you call opposition in the rival gangs. So that's the best way I can explain for what does Ramos, his role in the film as the opposing gang leader. Yeah? Do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I just want you lot to be aware of these situations in life and stay clear away from them.
Alright, so we're going to move on to Ben. Is it Ben? Alright. So this is Goku's dad, right? But really that's Goku's stepdad. Right, I know I've looked at some of the questions you guys have sent from that. You're saying, where is Goku's real dad and stuff like that. Obviously, the film could only depict a certain amount, but for now, he's Goku's stepdad. He's representing Goku's father, right? When the film is watched, you will see the reason why he's behaved the way he's behaved. His famous quote is, you think you're ready, you're not ready yet. Or you think you're a big man, you're not ready yet. That's what he's saying to Goku when he's conflicting with Goku. And when you watch the full film, you see that he actually loses his job. And the way he can best look for an outlet, which is negative, right? When something bad happens, you can either go with the positive or the negative. In this case, he chose to embrace the negative. His outlet was to beat on Goku's mother and be horrible to Goku. That is the reason. There's a reason behind every story, and that's an overview of Ben's story. Right? So we're going to move on. The next one is Denisha. This is Goku's mother. And once again, I did see some of your questions saying why would she stay with him, or why did she lie to the police? That was some of you guys' questions. Right? Obviously, things are a little bit more complicated when you think somebody is your family. The best way to explain her is she's torn between the love of her life and her son. And in those struggles, she makes some bad decisions. That's the best way to explain it. So we're going to move on. This is Adi. He could not be here today because he traveled to Germany. He has another acting role in Germany, so he couldn't be here. But he's a very significant he plays a very significant role in the film. He's the underboss to Tux, who's the gang leader. His famous quote was, I think he said, do you know what's more dangerous? Do you know what's more powerful than one dangerous man? A whole gang of them. We're families. So he's basically, the way we can depict that is that he's basically trying to make his own family from the street. So you have to be aware. The way a gang leader, or they're not going to come up to you and say, we are gang leaders. They're going to try to deceive you by saying, we're family. We're this. So you've got to really be aware. That is why we've depicted it in such a way. And we can kind of look at his characters. Maybe he didn't have a home or a family, and he's looking for family in the street. Like I said to you guys, there's always a story behind every character. So we're going to move on. So obviously this is myself in the film. I am a passerby at the beginning that warns Goku. So basically my role is to encourage him, to say to him that I spot him on the bench doing something he shouldn't do. I can't say to him, don't do this, don't do that. The best thing I can do is to encourage him. So maybe sometimes you might see somebody doing something bad because you're not there. The best way to probably is to encourage them, to say, maybe look at it this way, maybe you can do this. Because it's easy to judge, right? But we're not in that situation. So what we try to do is just encourage. We say, all right, you're doing this, but maybe you can do this and you can be great. Right? You're doing this now, try and consider this angle and you can be great. And that's what he represents, just that other alternative. Thank you.
There was a lot of questions that children came up and asked me, what what did the chain represent?
Okay.
Because some children came up to me and they were like, "Miss, but the chain, is he trying to recruit him into a gang?" I said, "No." They're like, "But Miss, he just gave it to him like he gave it to him underhanded. He didn't want anyone to see. What did the chain represent?" So can you just cover that?
Okay, so basically, if you remember the dialogue, it says, the dialogue said to Goku, you have to be smart. You have to be smart. So what basically that character tried to show Goku is his actions. He could have gave Goku that chain here, but he wanted to give Goku that chain cleverly because he's saying to Goku, you have to be smart. And instead of telling him, he showed him how to be smart in his own way. So that chain does not represent, it does not symbolize gang or recruitment. It's almost for him to touch Goku's heart. Because if I don't know you from anywhere, and I say to you, don't do this, do this, you're not going to listen to me. But if I then show you love, somewhere touch your heart, i.e., I gave you something that you value, you're more likely going to be like, no, he cares about me, maybe I'll listen. So that's all the chain symbolizes, is a way for him, for that character to touch Goku's heart, so his words can be meditated at a later time. That is it, really. Yeah? Alright, so we're going to move on. So, Goku, I'm going to let Goku speak on behalf of his character. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong. Goku, just speak. What does your character represent? You know this.
So, first I just want to start by what my character represents. Goku being a victim of his stepdad and also being put in a situation where he's pressured by other people throughout the scenes that you guys have seen. I just wanted to ask a quick question. Literally what it said, what did you guys think about the character Goku? Because I saw a lot of questions out there on the board and stuff. What did you guys think about him? Any questions you have towards him? In the middle?
He was a bit gullible, that he believed everything.
Straight in.
Why do you think Goku was gullible?
I don't know, because he'd been through so much, he just thought he would trust everything that he saw.
Literally perfect. Another question at the front?
I was going to say, because he was more optimism, he was more naive to the guy.
That's another question.
He looked like he didn't care, but he kind of did it in a sort of way, but he didn't hurt.
No, exactly that. So, no more questions for me. I'm going to elaborate on all of those points. So, I agree with every single one of those points there. I think Goku was very gullible, or myself, because my name is Goku, in the movie, because of, yes, I was in a difficult situation in the movie, and it made it almost like I needed a shoulder to cry on, but there wasn't necessarily that person there. So, when someone would then present that opportunity, my character would almost straight away jump on it without questioning what is actually going on and not actually looking at the bigger picture. So I think a takeaway, if you guys were to like look at that kind of situation, if you guys are going to be like ever upset and you need shoulders crying and someone is offering you help, look at the bigger picture, step back and be like, wait, do I actually know this person? Do they actually care about me? Is that a situation you put yourself in? Another thing I wanted to ask you, have they seen possible?
They have seen this movie.
What do you guys think was going through Goku's mind when he was on the bus stop? When he had just run away from home when he was at the bus stop?
They didn't see you run away from home.
They didn't see it.
Not the one they saw on the bus stop.
Okay,
They know. When you met Addy, when Addy approached
okay, cool. So what do you guys think Goku was thinking when Ade approached him? At the back.
I think you all pretty that
Oh, yeah, entirely. I think my character was very confused in that situation because he didn't actually know Ade, and Ade was presenting him an opportunity that you wouldn't normally present to someone you don't know on a day-to-day basis. Over there.
Maybe he was curious of why Ade was nice.
Yeah, exactly. Because if I didn't know Ade like I did not, it's very difficult to understand why someone would be nice to you if they don't know you or try to bring you under their wing, which is the peer pressure and kind of Ade presenting himself as a friendly face without me actually looking at the bigger picture. We're going to have one more question. I'm going to let Tux take over with his character. At the back for me.
Go for it.
What part of London do you guys know? What part of London do you guys know?
West London, South, That's an interesting question, yes.
So we filmed in, well, basically all around London, but primarily a lot of the shots were in West London and Kingston. We also did do some shots in South London, where I'm actually from. But yeah, thank you guys. I can't take it for question. I'm going to pass it to the class.
Okay, so there's going to be more questions at the end, so feel free to fire them through. I've seen a lot of questions as well that I feel like I'm going to have to answer as well. But I'd like to put one thing really straight right now, okay? I'm not Goku's dad. Someone said on there, he's Goku's dad. I'm definitely not Goku's dad, right? So, okay, I'm going to ask a question and I'm going to try and get some answers from you guys.
Hands down for now.
So yeah, just relax your answers, you're going to get tired out. Okay, I'm going to try and get the answers from you guys and then I'm going to give you an answer that I think it leads in line to, or maybe you can direct me towards my answer. Okay, so what do you think the saying, when I sat, do you remember the scene from sitting in the car? Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, from sitting in the car when, grooming, yes, the grooming scene. When I said the word, there can't be any chinks in the armor. Does anyone want to elaborate on that for me? You've been putting your hand up for a long time, I'm going to take your answer. Okay, I like that.
You have to have complete loyalty to each other. There can't be any mistrust.
Okay, that's good.
You can't be any hold-ups like everything's just
You can't be any, sorry?
hold-ups like everything's just
Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's good. And yourself, in front?
I feel like it's just wrong to ask Goku to self-save.
Okay, that's at the end. You can butcher my character at the end. But for now, I just want to get an answer. It's a good thing about kick skin, but and you're completely right about that. Okay, I just want to get answers to the question that I just asked. So just one more for me. Anyone else? Okay, so I'll go into it and I'll explain to you what I meant. So if you understand, the word change is like a kind of break in something. So if I wanted this whole room now to be dark, okay, what do I need to do? First, I need to kind of black out all the windows, yeah? Sorry, say again? No, I can hear you. Go on. What did you say? Okay, so turn off all the lights for starters, black out all the windows. But if I want to start, what I'm trying to accomplish is to have a completely dark room. If someone then comes in and opens the door, what do you think is going to happen? Lights will come in. So that's what I mean by there can't be any kinks in the armor. So basically, letting in a bit of light or weakness. Again, like someone said, obviously words like you can't show any form of vulnerability or anything, and that in that line as well works. Not just in terms of when I was trying to bring Goku together again. It works in line of everything that you do in life, right? So you see someone saying to you, and you've got trust in your family is very important. Trusting your mom and your dad and everybody, your uncles around you and stuff like that, but you've got to understand when someone's trying to bring you into a negative light, and you've got to be able to understand your own self, what you want to do. We'll go into that later on in some more questions about self-esteem and everything like that, but again, in that line, that's what I mean by that. So an armor is quite tight. If there's a gap in it, let me put it in terms of military, in terms of your armor, if there's a gap in your armor, then you probably won't survive that fight. Does everyone understand? Do you have any other questions?
We'll take these questions later. Alright, we're going to let Clive start with what responsibility means and what accountability means. So he's going to engage with you guys, yeah?
So hi guys. First I'm just going to ask you guys a simple question. What do you think it means by responsibility? And you're the fastest.
So it's like when something you do something, you have to do it safely and the way you're doing
Yes, perfect I'm going to ask another question in a moment. So what do you think happens if somebody is not being responsible?
Me?
Yes.
Okay, so I feel like they don't care what happens, they're not paying attention to anything.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yes. They don't give it value. Yes. They don't give it value. Anyone else? What tends to happen when somebody is not being responsible? Does anyone have any other examples? Yes.
You're not responsible, like someone says you're responsible for the TV, and if you're not responsible, maybe something like that.
Exactly that. So yeah, I'm just going to elaborate on all of your points. So everyone answered perfectly correctly, and we've got some answers for you as well. So like you said, if I'm not responsible, then people that you love or people around you will get hurt. And I can give you a perfect example of what that looks like. So if I have my child and I'm about to cross the road, if I am not responsible for their safety, if they run out onto the road and the car hits them, that person is hurt, I was irresponsible, and it's a negative situation. And this can work out in everything around you, in peer pressure. You know, everyone's got to be responsible for the wider community. If we see wrongdoing, we have to be able to step in, otherwise we're being irresponsible. I believe Tux, you had a point on self-esteem. So I let Tux explain other scenarios where responsibility is very important.
So from the questions that were asked, I was just trying to look for that young man's name that was targeting me. What's his name? Aiden. Good, because I've seen your question and I believe that was exactly what you asked on it. So we'll talk about that later. Self-esteem. Okay, so let's talk about accountability and responsibility again. The way I put it down to is self-esteem. What do you think about self-esteem? Self-esteem is basically like you just projecting yourself. You can have, like, there are different kinds of self-esteem, right? You can have high self-esteem, you can have low self-esteem, or you can just have like one that's like literally then turns you into like ego, where when you walk around you think you're the best things in sliced bread, and that sometimes can bring you down and people don't like you, or you end up going the wrong path. So what you really want is just self-esteem, high self-esteem, being able to be confident in yourself. Accountability is just and responsibility, again, owning up to things that you've done. Okay, so if you've done something wrong, being able to put your hand up to say I've done it wrong. Again, responsibility, being able to take responsibility of the things that you will do or you've done or are about to do. So just literally, before making any decisions, putting into like, you know, thinking for yourself, it's again stopping to think, just basically to think, where I'm going now, is this going to lead the right way? Is that going to lead the wrong way? And for me, there are times that I've made decisions, especially when I was young, probably not your age, a little bit older, okay, I've made decisions that would have led me pretty much the wrong way. I've seen friends and stuff go down the wrong way because of decisions that they've made. I decided to turn my life around, probably when I was like 18, go to uni, go to the army, do different things, and it's been good for me. So you just take on that word today now, okay? If you're going to take anything out of responsibility and accountability, it's all about your self-esteem, being able to just look in yourself and know that you're proud. Because I think with Goku, again, according to the film, Goku had low self-esteem. That was due to the things that was happening at home. Okay, if you're at home and everything's not good with your mom, your stepdad keeps taking your food, especially because he took his food a few times, okay, or doing silly things to you, beating you up, okay. These things can lower someone's self-esteem, okay. But then when you then see people outside, it gives you a false sense of security. And I've seen some questions about family as well. Why do they want to be a family? That's another question that's directed. The whole point is that because Goku didn't have a family at home that was caring for him, okay, even though his mom was, but she couldn't show it too much because instead that was there, obviously always being in the middle, okay, because he didn't have that home, it was easy for AD to say to him, they were going to be a family, and it was easy for me to say to him, we're a family. Do you understand what I mean? And he wants that security, doesn't he? Everybody likes you. All of you here love your mom, your dad, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters. Okay, you just want that family connection. And what's the best way to try and trick someone into something? Again, trying to tell them that you want to be the family. The same way that, you know, Chino started at the start, wanting to talk to Goku. If he just said to him, oh, you've got to think smart, Goku will probably think, yeah, whatever. But he's giving him something that every time he looks at that thing now, he's going to think, what did this guy say to me? Do you all understand that?
So, I'm just going to touch on some of the. I'm just going to touch on accountability. Yeah, I'm just going to touch on responsibility, accountability from the angle of understanding, right? Being responsible, you have to be understanding. You have to understand self. You have to understand that you are responsible for yourself and your environment, right? And being accountable, you still have to have understanding. So in everything you do, I think that's one of the most important things that you need to possess growing up. You have to have understanding. Understand your environment, understand self, right? And yeah, that's basically what I want to touch on. And then I'm going to pass on to Goku quickly, just speak to them about growing, about helps you grow. Once you become accountable and responsible, it actually helps you grow.
So for me, personally, I would say that being responsible for your own actions is very important because it helps you to grow. By that, what I mean is that if you, I don't know, say you go to the shops, alright, and you buy something from the shops, and someone asks you, oh, what did you buy? You lied to them, and then they're angry that you lied to them, but you just didn't want to tell them that you bought something from the shop. Weird scenario, I know, but trust me, we'll get into it. So, if you're lying to them, and then they're angry with you, and you feel some sort of way because they're angry with you, and you don't think nothing of it, you're going to continue to not talk to that person because you're going to think they have a problem with you, even though that you was the person who did something in the first place to make them upset. So similar concept applies. In that instance, you're not being responsible for lying to them, and you're not taking accountability for your own actions. Whereas if you went shops, you bought something, and you told that person what you got, even if it doesn't really matter what you got, like if you told them that and they were then angry with you, you're responsible for what's happened and you're accountable for what's happened, so then it's no longer you who's in the wrong. So you guys can apply this to your day-to-day situations, like anything that happens, like say you do something wrong or you do something right, being responsible and being like, yeah, you know what, I did do that, is very important because it helps you to then learn from those experiences and it helps you to be able to become a better individual, because if you know that you've done something wrong and you then be like, okay, you know what, I did it, like, or I did this or I did that, if you're able to say that and put your hand up and you know, put yourself out there and say, I was in the wrong, then you know for next time how you can avoid that situation. And yeah, cool, there might be consequences for your actions, but being able to deal with those consequences, own up to things that you do wrong, or even right in some situations, can never help you grow and move on and do better in the next time you're in that similar situation. So basically, I just think it's really important that you guys are responsible for your own actions. But yeah.
Thank you. So we're going to
Does anyone know what global is? Yeah, what's global? Yeah, the world. And then what's citizenship? Yeah? Exactly. So the idea is that, you know, global citizenship is how we part of the wider community, like the whole world in general. So how did everyone get to school today? Someone walked? You what? Oh, you just scooter up? Yeah, scooter up? You walk? You walk? Okay, you're not walkers. Yeah? Yeah? You walked as well? Okay. Any other ways? You drove? Yeah? Yeah. Your mum drove? A bike? Did anyone get the bus? You got the bus? Okay. Anyone get the train? Yeah? Someone got the train. So imagine you got to the bus stop and there were no buses. What would you do? You'd have to walk, right? But then you'd probably be late, right? So you're supposed to get the bus, you get the train. So imagine you got to the train station and there were no trains. You'd have to get the bus. But what if there were no buses? You'd walk. but you'd be late, right? Because you were supposed to get the bus. You should. But let's say you didn't know, so you got to the bus stop and you waited 10 minutes, 20 minutes, no bus. Went to the train station, so no answer now, I'll come back to it. You waited 10 minutes, 20 minutes, no train. So now you're late to school. So then imagine you got to school and you got to class and there was no teacher.
Listening to each other, please. Thank you.
Just teach yourself. You have to teach yourself. Okay, so saying you want to teach yourself would be a form of accountability, but there was supposed to be train drivers and bus drivers and teachers, right? Because it's their responsibility in their job to drive the cars, to drive the trains, and to teach. So if people don't take responsibility, then life doesn't run as it runs for everybody to do the things they want to do to get through the day. So if everybody does their part, then we can live the life that we want. Or we would have to walk everywhere, be late, and teach ourselves. But actually, we learn better when there's people, when everybody's doing their part. Does that make sense? Yeah? So imagine you were playing football and the goalie was sitting down on his phone. Would your team do very well? Right? And imagine your striker was on TikTok instead of trying to score goals. Would you win? Right. So the idea of global citizenship is thinking, what is my part in trying to make society run? Because we don't run without everybody else. We can't do it on our own. So some people say no man is an island, no woman is an island. We need community to make life run. Does that make sense? Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Round of applause for Phil.
It gets interesting. We have 20 minutes left. So I need your ears and eyes. Eye contact is respect. You're going to secondary school. This is what we need to practice.
Okay. So, this is an open question, and I will take maybe 3 answers. So, what do we think led to Goku's first stabbing?
The first stabbing.
Yeah. I'll take some answers. Yeah. He was scared. Yeah.
It was like his first move, basically. The only thing he thought to do. Like, I don't know. Maybe he wanted to let his anger out before he died. That was abusing his mom when he was a child.
Okay. Yeah. So, if we remember, he was in a group, right? And there was a lot of pressure, like you said, for him to be part of this family. And like you said, he was actually quite angry. There was a lot going on with Goku. And like we were saying before, there's always a story behind someone's story. When people are going through difficult times, sometimes it's harder for them to think about their actions and the consequences of their actions. Is what they're doing good or bad? And Goku was going through a lot of things. So in that moment, there was pressure from this new family that was supporting him. He had all of these experiences at home where he was being mistreated by his stepdad. He was going to school and people were bullying him, they were making fun of him. So all of this was going on for Goku. And in that moment, it almost felt like he had to make a decision. And even though the decision was bad, he felt like that was the right thing to do for him in that moment. And the second question, what do you think could have prevented Goku stabbing?
Maybe if you like try to put it out like carefully and maybe not like.
Yeah. So Goku was going through a lot of things, and sometimes talking about it with people that we trust and who make us feel safe can actually make us feel a lot better. And that means when we make decisions, we can make decisions with a clear head, rather than all the thoughts going on around in our head.
Fox should have not asked him to like
So the first question is, what do we think happened in that scene? Louder. Yeah, they wanted some shoes. Yeah.
So it's like one small music again, like Fox wanted him to like himself like trustworthy.
was now part of the gang. He's now accepted in the gang, and because of that, they're buying him all of these gifts. And that's a way of kind of making him feel like, oh, I'm really part of this family, they're looking after me. But then actually that doesn't work out in the long run, because they've given him all of these nice things and they expect him to do things for them, like the stabbing, like selling drugs to people around. So it didn't work out in the long run. And then what did we think of the character I was playing? What was she thinking? Yeah, a bit confused about what was happening. Any other answers? Back? Yeah, they had a lot of money. They bought a lot of things and they paid for it all in cash, all in one go. Yeah, so I was thinking that. Anything else? Yeah, this is a rich one more.
I have a different question.
No, let's stick to the question that we want to
We're
answer.
going to do all questions at the end.
Thank you.
I need to come back.
At the end.
Yeah. The last question is, what do you think my character could have done differently that could have helped both of you?
Also, you go like so much.
Yeah, I could have been a bit more curious. Because I felt like something was wrong, something was a bit weird, but I didn't say anything. So if I asked a question, maybe Goku could have opened up. Any other answers?
Do you guys have any questions before we move on? Before we go into the story, I'm going to take 2 questions if you guys have. Alright. If it's related to peer pressure, then I'll take it, because I know you have a little desire to ask you. I'll ask it. What is it? What's your name? What's your name? Aiden, stand up so that we if it's to do with going suicide, you can't ask it. You gotta remember that. I know. Okay, so I'll ask.
Articulation, Aiden. Yeah, it means make sure you're representing yourself well. Because these people don't know us.
Why would you say into the jobs?
Okay, remember he plays a character, right, that's happened. Right, so it's not actually him, but I'm glad you asked this. Yeah.
Okay, right, so Aiden, that's my nephew's name. He's a lot more gentle. So, yeah, so I'll answer this now. You can sit down. You can sit down. So, the whole point of it is, you've seen this in the racing scene, right? You've seen this, it's grooming, okay, initiation, yeah? All that is part of like, the grooming and initiation part of things, right? So, I think we didn't already touch on most of them, okay? Me buying him stuff, okay? Us paying for stuff, treating him like family. As you can see in that scene that I was missing, okay? Every time he was next to him, he was either like standing next to him, so he feels secure, or when he walks out of the shop, he was holding him, just like family type kind of thing, alright? And that's the whole point of the movie. That's what my character, Amy's character, was trying to do to try and recruit him into the gang. And this is what happens in real life on the streets. People try to do this to you to try and bring you in. Obviously, it doesn't end well, okay? Because you're going to have to do these things, sell drugs, do naughty stuff that you shouldn't really be doing, that will end up getting you in trouble, that will end up getting you into prison, which is going to be the last thing we're going to talk about. Okay, so I have to answer that, and I'm happy that you're not asking all these questions, okay? Because you have to ask them all. I'm not that person, okay? I'm definitely more wild.
I just want to say, when you see, the reason why I kept it back is because you need to think about yourself as Vivian's character. You are going to see a lot of things happening around you. We live in London, multicultural, there are so many things going on, so it's about being aware and thinking about the person you want to meet in that environment. So, are you going to be the Vivian character or are you going to be the Tox character? Are you going to be the Chino character? Who are you? What we would love is when we're looking at the character Vivian, the fact that she could have said something, she noticed something. Are you going to be someone who sees something happening and kind of says something like, actually, are you sure you're okay? Like Chino did in the beginning. Hey, I see you doing something wrong. You don't need to do that. Here's this. If you're working and making all this money to get jewels, I'll give you this. You don't have to do all that to get this. This stuff is just here. Just be a good person. So the point of that is for you guys to realize your character in life. Who are you? When you're seeing things happening, don't turn a blind eye. You're just as bad as the person that talks to you. Yeah?
an overview to the actual story, how it came about, and what it's about. As you can see, they said it's based on a true story. So this only is to make you aware of what you are going into. So when you go into that, one of the older kids comes, be like, "Well, you want to be cool? Come, let's do this, or come, let's box school, or come, don't go home early, let's stay out for 2 hours, even though mom wants you home at a certain time." Said, "Don't worry, come, let's go to this shop, let's steal sweets," whatever it is that you do. This is what peer pressure is only trying to make you aware. So when you are out there, when you are faced with this situation, you'll be like, "No, I've seen peer pressure. I know this and that, because you have insight, right? And maybe you might have a friend that wasn't as lucky enough, we didn't come to this school. But you can be like, "No, what's wrong with peer pressure? They say if you do this, this can happen." So you can become an ambassador of peer pressure when you go to your secondary schools, right? You can be that guy. When people are doing this and that, you be like, "No, this is where it's going to end." Even if they don't listen to you, but you've done your part. You've said what you have to say, and that's it, right? And that's basically all I want to say on that for now. We're going to go straight into prevention, and we're going to talk about prevention, and then we're going to, I think this is the best time to start taking questions. How long do we have left?
It's got about 10 minutes.
10 minutes. So we're going to quickly, I'm going to let each individual people talk, and we're going to take questions on prevention. So what we're going to do is, because of time, we're going to really move on to the stabbing scene, right? And say what would have been done to avoid the stabbing scene. I'm going to let my brother take ask some questions about the stabbing scene and then we're going to.
From what you've seen, what exactly could have been done to prevent that fatal stabbing scene? So you're basically saying that the gang could have approached the situation different. Okay. Any other questions? Any other answers to that question? Yeah. Okay. So the folks who should have been in the gang in the first place. And yourself? Easy spaces. Very enough, yeah. Appreciate all the answers. So ultimately, nobody wants a fatality, nobody wants to see anyone be hurt. We believe there are preventions we could have put in place, especially from the wider community. At this point, Goku has been groomed and is extremely vulnerable. And from the gang member's point of view, once you're in a negative light, it's a down spiral of negativity. So what could have happened is the wider community could have checked in. So as a wider community, we believe that we have the responsibility as well to check in on our community when things are going wrong, and then we can prevent things like this. Once it's neglected, anything can happen, and as you can see, a negative situation happens. That's what I'm saying.
Alright, so we've got literally short time, so we're going to take last questions. So pick any member and we'll ask your questions, and that's it.
I have a question for the top.
For who?
Top.
Sorry, I'm asking you, can you stand up? Thank you.
How did you feel when you were trying to like manipulate new kids coming in?
So in terms of in my character, okay, and in the real world, I don't think these people feel anything. You try to groom like younger kids, teenagers and stuff into doing bad things. I don't think they feel anything. Now, have you guys thought about in the film itself? The upbringing of Tox, do you think that has something to do with the way he brings people, he talks to people and everything that we talk about? So what do you think?
I feel like
every action, there's always a reaction. You can't let that something. Okay, so everything builds up and comes up from. There's always a story behind it. I don't think, according to the movie, I don't think Tox just went out one day and just decided to be, a gang or whatever it was. And these are the things that I have, seen going up down the road. That these things can happen, and it's that easy for people to just entice you and stuff and bring you into a gang with the smallest things that really mean nothing. You've probably seen even in school now, your friends coming when you have to dress cultural day or a day where you're not wearing uniforms, they come with the most expensive trainers or whatever. And you're going to see that in secondary school. It's probably going to happen a lot there, where kids come in wearing expensive clothes, wearing expensive trainers, and they're probably your friends, you go to their house and they're probably not living that way. So they're probably doing things that they shouldn't do, but then they might also be, hanging out with people that they shouldn't be hanging out with, they're doing things that they shouldn't do. So in everything that you've got to do, you just got to always think about family. Because if you end up in a situation where you end up in, not you guys, or if the actions are wrong and the person ends up in prison, who do you think is going to be with them? You answer this, one person answer this, who do you think? Who's the most important person then when they go, family, yeah? So family summarizes it. Because your friends, they will probably just, with most of these guys, the friends just wait till you come back. Most of them probably will not see you. And I've seen it from growing up around here. They might not see you for 2 years, 3 years, or whatever that you go away for. When you come back, they'll throw you a party, and that party probably won't see you going back in. So all these things are very important. Family is very important. Key, yes.
At the same time, I can almost, as a character, anticipate that situation, or that situation, because I was already on a downward spiral of doing negative things to go up to that point. And I then thought I would have had to prove myself to us and to LA from it. To almost gain their respect, because they were presenting a family situation to me. Yeah.
About 2 more questions I've already taken.
That's you. Who do you want the question for? Who's the question for?
I just kept it on my first one. Obviously, when I was given the chain, that was almost like a symbol of an escape, if you know what I mean. The way that was presented to me was that it was proof that there was ways to get those things without actually necessarily going through the situations that I put myself in my daily life. Because there was ways to get what you want in life by just achieving your dreams and working hard, as opposed to just being given it on a plate by someone else.
So if you have questions, add it to the pattern, you might get a response. It might not be today or tomorrow instantly, but eventually you'll get a response, hopefully. Can we give a massive round of applause? You are moving into secondary school. Who are you going to be? When you see things happening around you, are you going to speak or are you going to be a bystander? Are you going to be Chino or are you going to be Vivian? Okay? These 2 roles are very essential. Very essential. Be observant. Make sure you're there for your friends. Make sure you're checking up on your loved ones. Make sure you're not stereotyping or judging people without knowing their backgrounds. Okay? You don't know what people are going through, guys. So be mindful, be wise, and you guys are going to be great. Sitting up straight, ready to go home.
Get a load of this. Let me take you to the scene full of trouble kids. As they turning into teens, life for art to fix. Cause you see the problem is, shattered dreams of broken homes leads to the violence spree, revenge for the broken bones, lingers in your heartbeat. Vision for your iris is the terror from your step-ups. Mom's in a crisis, she yelling please stop, he takes no notice. Carries on the violence like he's leaving no survivors. Licking her with wires, reaching for the toolbox, about to use the pliers. Girl, you kick into the phone box just to call the sirens. Gasping for air, finally there, you think about your family affair. Treading every turn is drastic. Yelling down the phone, but they tell you don't panic. So the boy go home, that's what you call domestic. Trying to catch the logic, but you just don't.